Hello everyone. So, today we will talk about the Fibonacci cluster. What is the Fibonacci cluster? It's a narrow zone on a chart that contains several Fibonacci levels, at least 3, which we get by running several Fibonacci on a different time frames or movements. I will try to explain this to you with this example. On the graphic, we clearly see that the euro-dollar currency pair is in a rising trend. So the euro is growing in comparison to the dollar. As we trade in line with the trend, we expect that this trend will continue, at least in the near future. So we are thinking about entering the buy position, but we will not do it right now because the price is too high, but we are waiting for a retrace or smaller decline. Our goal is to predict where this decline will stop or find a level where we will set up a trade. I'll show you how to do this with the help of Fibonacci cluster. To get a Fibonacci cluster, we need to run at least 3 Fibonaccis from different levels. I'll explain it. In a rising trend, Fibonacci can run from all important bottoms, but always to the last top on the chart. We will start the first Fibonacci from this bottom and mark the important levels. Then we will run the second from this bottom and see if some levels match or are close to each other. And the third one we will start from this bottom. In this way we get the Fibonacci level display through time intervals. Fibonacci run from the first bottom shows a longer time interval compared to the Fibonacci run from second and third bottom. Since many traders are trading on the market at different time intervals, and we will run Fibonacci at different time intervals to find a level that would be interesting for both long-term and short-term traders. Why? Well, because the price will not start to rise by itself from a certain level. It is necessary that most traders in the same zone enter the buy to rise the price. Otherwise, it will not happen. So the mass influences the market. Running Fibonacci from the first bottom, we get support on a longer time interval. The first level of 23.6 will not be taken into consideration because in real trading I usually ask for a little bigger retrace to be able to generate currency pair analysis. But this is just an illustration. I just want you to understand what the Fibonacci cluster is. The next two levels are 38.2 and 50%. We'll mark them. To mark the level of 61.8 would be pointless because it is too far from the current price. Okay, let's see what Fibonacci says on a shorter time interval. I'm just going to move the start of Fibonacci to the next button. Okay, does any level match a market level over a larger time interval? Yes. The level of 61.8 is very close to the previously market level. We'll mark it. We get the first narrow zone of support. The level of 50% is a bit far from the previously market and we will not mark it. Okay, let's move on. Move the Fibonacci to the next bottom. What do we have now? The 61.8 level is very close to the first market level. So we get another narrow zone. Level 78.6 is located very close to the first market narrow zone, and then we get the first Fibonacci cluster because in one zone we have 3 Fibonacci levels. That's the minimum that I'm requesting to mark that zone as a Fibonacci cluster. Let's see if we have anything else. We'll switch to the H1 time frame. Okay, let's run the Fibonacci on this last move. Retracement levels are not helpful now because they are far from the market zones. But let's see the extensions of this first wave. The first extension level of 127.2 is very close to the first market zone. We'll mark that level. So, this is definitely a strong support zone and a good Fibonacci cluster. We can delete the first zone. Okay, let's summarize. We have a zone in which there are 4 Fibonacci levels 3 levels of Fibonacci retracement, and 1 level of Fibonacci extensions. So what did we get? Instead of a few scattered supports on the graphic, we got a good support zone. This does not mean that the price will surely rise if it falls into this zone, but if it does, we would definitely have a good chance to open a buy trade. I know that the current price is far from this cluster, but it does not matter. As I said, this is just an illustration. I hope you understand what the Fibonacci cluster is. We'll do a lot of examples with Fibonacci clusters. In the next lesson, I want to show you the situation when two Fibonacci clusters appear at the same currency pair at the same time. This is not a rare situation and it happens often. See you.